So people on social media are saying natural selection after 2 girls were found on top of a train passed away because they were subway surfing. Can't even blame them. They snuck out in the middle of the night to ride on top of trains? And the news talking about something, it's a social media trend.
Just 13. Both were found dead at a subway station in Brooklyn. The tragedy, a grim reminder of the danger of this dangerous stunt, largely fueled by videos posted on social media.
No, this is a unintelligent trend that the kids of New York are doing, bruh. Don't tie all the social media. There have been other casualties, and I see some of the parents are trying to sue. Sue who? I ain't never played no video game as a kid and say, you know what? Maybe I can jump off of buildings too. Maybe I can jump a bridge with a bike too. Then I seen a video that looked like grown men doing it too. They gotta be putting son in the water in New York. Don't get twisted. Nobody deserves to lose their kid, right? But this is a very, very unintelligent trend that it seems as if the low IQ are doing. There's not enough influence in the world that could convince my niece or nephews to do this. Not even me when I was 12.
I don't feel sorry for the girls that died subway surfing. I don't feel sorry for their mom. If you from New York, you know half of these parents don't give a fuck about their kids. Half of these parents don't care a lick. How are you 12 years old sneaking out of your house 3 a.m. When I worked at Times Square and my mom was home, she would be up waiting for me when I get home at like 1-2 o'clock in the morning because she wanted to see me home, right? And then she would fall asleep when I get home. Half of these parents don't give a fuck. And these kids know not to do that. We have ads all over the city telling you not to do that. You wanted to put your life at risk, you die. Simple. You fucking die. The fuck? Like, why is everybody... I just don't understand when people die, and people die for stupid reasons. People's like, oh, we gotta grieve, we gotta mourn. No, the fuck? And what gets me is that they were young as fuck. And how your mom didn't know? How your mom didn't know? The mom was like, you were climbing roller coasters, you were climbing this. She didn't think to fucking stop you, do something about it, because I know she's letting your ass roam around doing whatever the fuck you want. That's how you know these parents don't give a fuck. If you live in New York, like I said, you will know that these parents don't give a fuck. And then they're gonna cry when their kids die. Like, they don't teach their kids nothing. They let the streets teach them. They roam the streets, let their peers teach them, and they teach them the wrong shit. And then they cry when their kids end up dead.
Zema and Ebba, the teen subway surfer girls who passed away due to this tragic event. I think some people are being a little harsh. Remember, kids don't necessarily understand danger when they're that young. Remember, your cerebral cortex grows and understands better, like when you're almost 30. So you're legit, like, not that great. I don't want to say smart, but you don't understand death or the possibility of death. Now, you should know right from wrong. But at any rate, these girls calculated the risk way wrong and took a chance, and they probably thought it wasn't going to result in this, right? Because that's what they think is cool. We're going to go viral. We're going to live to talk about this, and they didn't. It's horrible to see the videos of like their feet hanging from the top of the subway train. From on top of the train, and it's just a gruesome like view. And then the worst part of it is they weren't identified for days. But I saw a quick interview of her mom, one of the moms, and she said that her daughter was pretty much a risk taker. She's fearless. She wasn't afraid of anything, not even roller coasters and stuff like that. And that probably speaks to how she thought this wasn't going to be dangerous or scary or result in death, and taking a friend along with her, that both of them ended up being dead. Every time I see one of these subway surfer stories, I'm always thinking, this can't be a new one. Can't be a new one. Like, we know from the last time that these kids might have learned, but they're not learning. They're just continuously doing. Like, they want that dopamine hit, and they want that experience, and they're picking. It's just awful. Awful, awful, awful. Rest in peace to them. Way too young, way too soon.
I'm trying to figure out where were the parents of the girls that passed away on the subway train because they were subway surfing. Because these kids, they were kids. They were 10, 11, so like they weren't even like older teenagers type. Like, they should have been with their parents. These kids nowadays be getting wrapped up so much in bullshit, to be honest. And I just can't seem to comprehend how, because when I was growing up, we had like 360. Like, my mama was on top of that shit. Like, I was not going to be doing, like, what are y'all doing? Are you even paying attention to y'all kids? You can't be. And a lot of people are wondering, like, what would possess these kids to go subway surfing, to do this, to do that? Well, for one, adrenaline rush. Like, a lot of these kids, they just are bored, you know? Doing what, motherfucking drugs and drinking alcohol isn't doing it for them, I guess. Clock it. I mean, it shouldn't, but a lot of these other kids, that's exactly what they're doing. These kids is dying day after day on fucking random ass pills, being out in the motherfucking streets, gangbanging, this and that. Like, we be talking about YNs all the time. A lot of kids also act the fuck out when they want attention from their family, when, like, they're lacking it. So the only way for, a motherfucker to care is if they do get in trouble. And that's the type of time, that's the only time that the parents will be paying attention to them, is when they're doing crazy cracked out shit. What are we talking about? I really do hope that they are resting in peace, because, like, that's a terrible way to motherfucking go. Just absolutely terrible. And I hope, like, the parents realize, not only their parents, but, like, other parents around, like, check on your kids. See what the fuck your kids are doing. Check on their low. Like, come on now.
The two girls that died subway surfing, one of the girls' mom, Zema, that's not her name, that's the daughter's name, but she's catching a lot of heat right now because they're like, what kind of mom just gets on an interview and she shows no emotion? She almost looks relieved. Why isn't she distraught? Like, if that was my daughter. I mean, people are ripping this lady apart. When the girls were initially reported dead, a lot of people were sharing their TikTok accounts, and I ended up on Zema's account, and I mean, she has a lot of videos where she's on top of trains, she's climbing bridges. Specifically, the last video, I knew that it was a moving train, but I didn't know exactly what I was looking at. I thought maybe she like zoomed into the train carts, the rail that connects them, and I thought that's what I was looking at. I thought maybe she found it artistic. I don't know. Anyways, didn't think anything of it. While I'm looking, I like to read comments as I look at videos because my attention span is just gone. One of the comments was like, guys, could you blame the mom? She was literally under a moving train. And I said, oh my God, is that what I was looking at? So I go back. Yeah, she was under a moving train. She was literally under a moving train. I don't know how many other ways I can say this, but she was under a very fast train. This girl was playing life or death. She was not playing Subway Surfers. I think the other girl just kind of followed along, clearly. And then Zema has a little sister who also got interviewed, and everyone's ripping her apart. And they're like, man, the mom and the daughter are kind of weird. They're showing no emotion. I think the sister's like 9 years old. And she's just kind of recounting. She's like, oh, I was watching the news. And then I started telling my mom, hey, I think that's her skateboard. I think that's her Coach bag. Oh my God. So I guess the day was coming. They were anticipating that this was going to happen. Zema was terrorizing her family. Herself and her family, and you guys are ripping this family apart. Anyways, just to give some perspective, I know of a lady that had a really terrible behaving son. He's calmed down like now because he's a lot older, but apparently when he was younger, he was stealing cars, getting in fights. She was constantly getting calls from police. He was constantly getting locked up, and she said that there were nights she would stay up till 2 a.m. praying to God that if she gets a call that has anything to do about him, she hopes that it's because he passed away, just to be able to put herself to rest, because it was so much burden, like the mental and emotional burden of it all, to not know what's happening and what's going on. So some kids do that to their mothers.
2 teenage girls ages 12 and 13 was found unalived on top of a train cart in New York City. Let's talk about it. The police report said they found these 2 teenage girls the age of 12 and 13 unalived at 3 a.m. on top of a train that pulled into a train station in New York City. And the reason being, they were surfing. Where the fuck were the parents? Why was y'all even allowing y'all kids to be out at 1 to 3 in the morning? At this point, the parents is at fault too. Lock them up. Because ain't no way my 12 and 13-year-old, 8th and 9th grade, finna be out at 1 to 3 in the morning. You gotta be kidding me. Ain't no fucking way. Y'all need to start checking y'all kids' phone, because even on their TikTok, they was showing that they was literally on top of the trains, up under the trains. I'm talking about literally, the train is moving and this girl was up under it, y'all. Literally climbing on top of bridges, going through abandoned subways late at night. Y'all need to be checking y'all kids' phone. Why was y'all even allowing y'all kids to be out at that time any motherfucking ways? The parents need to be at fault. And then to make matters worse, the train pulled into that subway. Them girls was laying on top of that train cart unalived, with no life in them. And people had their phones out recording. I understand the little phone out recording and everything. It was like, I get it. Y'all want to, post it on social media, bring awareness to it, whatever happened. But it's like, it was too many people with their fucking phones out. Ain't no motherfucking way I'm recording somebody that's unalived and posting it on social media. No way I'm doing that. If anything, I'm going to take that to the police department. New York City, y'all have to put something in place to stop these kids from subsurfing. Because ain't no way. I've been going down a rabbit hole and I've been seeing so many kids subsurfing and so many kids being unalived because of it. Then one man survives, and y'all, he had his whole skull replaced. He said he in excruciating pain every day because his whole skull was cut off from his head and replaced with something plastic. All because he was subsurfing and he got into an accident subsurfing. Y'all, I ain't gonna lie, like, that's crazy. That's so dangerous. Like, the girls are at fault too, because ain't no way. That's completely avoidable. Like, they wanted to pass away. They wanted to. Because ain't no way you find this type of shit, something this dangerous, fun. I wouldn't even think to be on top of a motherfucking train. What the hell? I don't think nothing about that is fun. Talk about some adrenaline rush. Oh, I don't get that type of adrenaline rush. Maybe on a roller coaster, but I don't top of no moving train, baby. None of that. This stuff is completely avoidable. But the kids just being kids and they just doing dumb stuff, causing them their lives, making their parents cry. New York, y'all gotta put something in place to stop these kids from subsurfing. I don't know what y'all have to do, but y'all have to do it. Because ain't no way.
I bet a couple of people have seen that video of those 2 teenagers in Brooklyn who lost their lives to subway surfing. I am actually just astounded how many comments I've seen under like people's videos of them warning these girls, of them saying like, oh, what did they expect? Like, they deserve to die because of their actions. Like, there was this one comment that was like, I saw, and a lot of people were agreeing about like, oh, like when I was 13, like I knew right from wrong. Like, I knew not to do things like that. And that they were saying like 13-year-olds like have like a fully rationalized, like developed cognitive ability to realize that what they were doing was wrong. But I have like so many like problems with this argument. Like, firstly, like not every kid develops at like the same pace, and that your environment plays a big role in how you develop and how you start learning right from wrong. Like, if you've watched the interviews, like her mom clearly like knew that she was doing this, and in my opinion didn't do enough to prevent her daughter from continuously, obviously, breaking out of the house at 3 a.m. and going to do these things. And clearly did it multiple times before she lost her life. So that in itself, like, tells you that she did not have the right, like, parenting and environment to, like, be told, like, stop doing this. Like, this is what can happen. This is the consequences. Then even if she was told that and continued to do it, clearly there is something not right in her brain. Like, even so, if I was 13 and I had people continuously tell me not to do something that I could end up risking my life, and I kept doing it, that is an addiction of some sort, or that is something mentally just not right in your brain. Because you're right, even though they are kids, they do have the ability to learn, not do things that can potentially put them at risk. But if she is doing it, even being told to stop doing it, then she is a victim of something. And I can't... all these comments that are saying like, oh, like, I don't feel bad for her. Like, this was her own choice. Like, she's not a victim. Like, I don't know why you're all acting like she's a victim. Like, even if we look at this through like an evolutionary and biological like perspective, her mom literally said in an interview that she has no fear. Like, she's not afraid of anything. And if you knew anything about evolution, fear is our body's response to something being unsafe. If we're afraid of doing something, we're not going to do it because we know that there's risks to doing that thing, aka dying. And she clearly didn't feel fear when doing these things, so something is not clicking in her brain that this is unsafe to be doing. People that typically don't have lots of fear when it comes to doing things typically tend to do riskier things. Skydiving, parachuting, I don't even know, rock climbing, free rock climbing. There are people that literally rock climb buildings in mountains with no harnesses or safety. And a lot of the time, we always hear stories about these people dying. I wouldn't do that. No, I have a high fear factor. I would not put myself in that position, but clearly this girl didn't. This 13-year-old was not afraid, and she did it anyways because no one was telling her to not do it. And she's a 13-year-old girl who is not an adult. Yes, maybe she should have known, but you're not her. You don't know what her life was like. You have to put yourself in other people's shoes, and you have to understand that not everyone develops at the same space or path that you do. Lastly, a lot of people are saying she might have had an addiction to adrenaline. Very valid, right? People that get adrenaline from doing scary things may probably come do it again. People do drugs, they get adrenaline, they want to do it again. People get high, that's a sense of adrenaline. People play video games, that's an adrenaline, they keep doing it. Addiction with adrenaline is a big issue. But all these people in the comments are like, oh, you're just trying to make her a victim still. You don't know her. She probably didn't have an addiction. Exactly, we don't know her. So I don't know why you think that you're the one who's in the right by saying she doesn't have an adrenaline addiction. But then you literally prove your point by saying no normal person would do this. Clearly, no normal person would have done it. She did it. She could have had an adrenaline addiction. She obviously did not process fear correctly. She either probably didn't have parents or a supporting system that told her that it was wrong. Any way you look at it, she shouldn't have been doing it, and she did it. She is a child. She is 13. She is not an adult. She is not able to make completely her own decisions, which is why she needs parents, and she clearly did not know right from wrong because she kept doing it. She is a victim, no matter how you look at it. Any angle you want to look at it, a 13-year-old lost her life, and she is a victim, and you need to have empathy and sympathy and compassion and stop commenting under people's posts who are trying to mourn this child by telling them that it was her fault and that she should have known better. You guys are terrible people.
Have you heard about the two little girls who were unalived due to subway surfing on the train in New York City recently? Rest their souls. The name was Zema and Emma, ages 12 and 13 respectively. They were subway surfing on the trains in Brooklyn. They apparently left the house at 3 o'clock in the morning. But I want to really send a message to the parents. First of all, I understand that most parents don't really know what their kids are doing when they leave the house. And certainly not at 3 o'clock in the morning like these two young girls apparently did. They left early in the morning to do their subway surfing. But parents, what I would like to say is, you do have the ability to be much more diligent towards talking to your kids, especially if you know that your kids are on these social media apps. Because regardless what anybody says, with each passing day and each passing month, these kids are becoming more and more adventurous, for lack of a better word, to get likes and views on these social media apps. And it would behoove parents, and trust me, I tell my young folk in my family all the time, you need to be very careful. So it doesn't have to be my child. But certainly, folk, if you have children, please be much more diligent towards speaking to these kids about the dangers and how they put themselves at risk. And you can also tie it to their future. If they want to live, they need to be more careful about their actions and the little tricks and things that they do for social media followers and likes, etc. So one thing I did learn about the Zema and Ebba case is that apparently they were part of a community called the Urban Explorer, or the Urban X community. I was just made aware of it just this morning. So apparently it's a community where I guess anyone, I'm sure it's tons and tons of kids involved, where they go out and explore these environments, whether it's bridges, tunnels, mountains, and they do things like hanging off of them, climbing them, some riskier than others. So not all of the activities in the Urban X community are dangerous, but obviously kids will push the envelope. And obviously, just like this situation, these kids are desperate for likes and views. And it's very, very upsetting. So parents, and just you people on these social media platforms in general, speak to your young folk, speak to your kids, become more diligent towards explaining to them the consequences of their actions. Again, this is so very, very upsetting. So rest in peace, Zema and Ebba.